Welcome back. You're watching in India Today special broadcast. This is the War for Thrones. Less than 24 hours to go before we know who's won in Uttar Pradesh and in the other states. In this next 1 hour, we will be focusing on the big ticket national takeaways. If the Axis My India exit poll data is correct, what are the big ticket takeaways? Remember, and I want to start with the first data point first, which is the Uttar Pradesh seat share and what a victory this would be for the BJP. If Axis My India is correct, they are projecting between 251 to 279 seats, which is more than what most people who traveled through UP came back with. Even those who were saying that the BJP will be single largest, none of them came back and said that the BJP could pick up between 251 and 279, which is pretty much what happened in the Lok Sabha elections of 2014. The Congress and the Samajwadi Party together had a seat share of 260. That's now likely to crash to between 88 to 112. Terrible news for Mayawati from these exit poll numbers. Between 28 to 42 seats for Mayawati, which is down from 80 the last time. Those are the Uttar Pradesh big figures, the seat share figures. I want to now start by asking all our guests about their big ticket takeaways. Sharad Pradhan is with us. We've got Prashant Jha with us. Shivam Vij, both of them have been traveling through UP. Sharad, of course, stays in Uttar Pradesh, understands the ins and outs of the politics of India's most electorally sensitive state. I want to introduce Siddharth Nath Singh. Siddharth Nath Singh, well-known TV face, BJP spokesperson. He just fought his first election. You can see a deep tan on him. Well-earned deep tan. He's lost some weight as well. Siddharth, welcome. Sanjay Jha is with us from the Congress party. I want to go across to Siddharth first. Siddharth, tell us how tougher to be on the ground fighting an election than to be on TV giving gyan, I assume. What did you learn fighting your first election?
Oh, well, certainly it's an easier job to be on television and fighting it out. But being on the ground, and the seat which I got, which was Allahabad West, which BJP has never won, only in a by-election we won once in 70s. It was a marathon exercise which I had to go through, but it was good fun, and I feel nice about contesting election and learning more about it in politics. But at the same time, I feel confident and keeping my fingers crossed for tomorrow.
We do have a seat-by-seat breakup of each seats, because remember, access polls in every seat. This is data we will be putting out later. If you'd like to know, I can tell you on your seat what the numbers are looking like. Only if you want to know, Siddharth. Would you like to know what the numbers on your seat are looking like?
No, I'm okay. I'm perfectly okay. You can go ahead. It's your exit poll.
Okay, so I can just take you through all the seats of Allahabad. Allahabad South and Allahabad North, the BJP, according to Axis My India, is the most popular party. In Allahabad West, it's projecting a tough fight between the BJP and the Samajwadi Party. So essentially, that's what it's looking like in Allahabad. And in Phulpur, the BJP comfortably in the lead. This is the Axis My India seat-by-seat projection of the most popular party. It's very difficult on a small sample to pick the exact margin, but what you can do is classify seats as green, red and orange. Green means those which a particular party is winning quite comfortably, orange means those which are in a tough fight, and red are those which that particular party seems to be losing. Sanjay Jha of the Congress party is also with us. The exit polls suggest a victory for the Congress in Punjab, a possible victory in Manipur, even though there's some division about whether or not Manipur and Punjab will be the way our poll is saying, because other polls are suggesting other trends for Punjab and for Manipur. The big question, Sanjay, which we were debating amongst ourselves, is whether Rahul Gandhi gets some credit for Punjab. If the Congress does well, virtually all our guests said Amrinder Singh gets the credit. They also said if the Congress were to do badly in UP, Rahul Gandhi must take the blame. Do you think that's a little unfair to Rahul?
Rahul, to be very honest, I think all these state elections are extremely unique in their own way. I mean, I have heard Ravi Shankar Prasad on your channel yesterday waxing eloquent on Mr. Modi's popularity and the BJP's upswing, but he very skillfully dodged Punjab. You know, Punjab is also part of India, for his information. So end of day, I think we got to accept the reality that there are different dynamics at play. Now, you know, I just want to respond to the Uttar Pradesh result. You know, if you, and you have already, you know, mentioned it very often. If you look at the 2014 Lok Sabha, and that is the closest benchmark we have, it's not 2012, it should be 2014. The BJP had a spectacular surge of almost 42.3% vote share. Now, when I looked at your numbers closely, and I have followed all the exit polls yesterday in minute detail, to believe that the BJP will be at 36%, I think is making a very aggressive claim. And you know, while obviously we'll get to know in the next 24 hours how it plays out, our, you know, internal feedback is that any party that crosses the 30% level, and we believe that it can be a close fight, it definitely is a close fight, and even a 1-2% vote share can make the seat distribution go completely skewed. The truth is, we don't see the BJP in fact anywhere close to 30%. So, you know, I believe this election is up in the air, and the very fact that different exit polls for different states have remarkably wide, you know, seats ranging a difference of 100 in Uttar Pradesh, a difference of 30 in Punjab, tells me that we are in for some fairly big surprises tomorrow.
Pradhan to give us his big ticket national takeaways if the trends captured by Access My India in this exit poll come out to be true.
Well, if this comes out to be true, it's extremely good news for Modi and for his party, because, you know, this will have its impact on the Rajya Sabha. It will have its impact also on the markets of India. You know, the people are waiting to see how Modi plays out in this election. It's just, all the focus is on Modi. But you know, there's a big what I feel on the flip side, it may also it may go into their head. You know, somebody like Amit Shah, and thereafter, you know, and it depends on who they plant in UP as their dummy, so to say.
No, but you are being unfair. If they won by dummy, you know, see, there have been two models. There's been, since 2014, the Devendra Fadnavis model, where you pick a blue-eyed boy, make him chief minister, he works out well. Devendra Fadnavis in the municipal elections recently,
no doubt about it,
has reposed the faith that was put in him. Then there's the ML Khattar model, which the BJP is now very fed up with. It backfired. The BJP realizes if elections are held in Haryana today, they would lose. So Khattar, so it's not a dummy model. It's a model which the BJP says it's for the future. I asked Amit Shah this question. How do you decide who to make chief minister? He says, we pick keeping the future in mind. He said, Modi wasn't anybody before we made him chief minister. He says, I wasn't anybody before I was given this post. He says, Sangathan aadmi ko banata hai, pad nahi. He says, the leader becomes a leader only once the organization gives him a post.
But in this case, here, mind you, Modi has become larger than the BJP.
Sure.
And it's the vote today is coming in the name of Modi. It is not the BJP. So, and you know, that kind of power, you tend to turn despotic. And somebody who has the tendency to be despotic in his ways can cause a havoc.
Okay.
So let us hope it doesn't happen.
Prashant, your take on the national picture if these exit poll
Three or four big takeaways. The first shows undiminished popularity, maybe even increased popularity of Prime Minister Modi, gives him more political room to do whatever he wants to do. If he could pull off a risky move like demonetization and still win an election, maybe the move has even helped him in the election. It shows that he has great political room to do what he wants to do. Helps Amit Shah increase his power.
Can I just clarify from the data, and I'm not taking my own view on this, the data shows demonetization didn't help, but demonetization did not damage the BJP's prospects. People may have been upset. In the end, they may have, like, for example, the Banya community may have been very upset with the fact that demonetization bombshell was thrust on them, but in the end, they had no option. Where would they go?
The fact that even after such a disruptive move, BJP could win an election itself, I think, speaks, it's highly of the political management.
To answer your question about Punjab, if the BJP Akali were to lose in Punjab, it's mostly down to what the Akalis did in Punjab. Corruption,
local
drugs,
anti-incumbency.
Local anti-incumbency. You can't blame demonetization.
Punjab in the way that it was not in UP.
No, but why would that's really unfair. That's reading it the way, you know, some would like to read it very
conveniently. Just from ground reports, one has heard that demonetization was an issue in Punjab in the way that it wasn't in UP or Uttarakhand or other states. Just because
Sure,
of
but the fact is that if they had lost in UP, or if they could still lose, but if the exit poll numbers are correct, then demonetization would have been a big part of the blame, because demonetization was the biggest issue. I heard many Rahul Akhilesh rallies, Rahul Gandhi especially, harped on demonetization more than anything else.
You know, well, what Shivam says, you know, the difference between Punjab and UP, looking at demonetization, the difference is Punjab doesn't have that kind of poverty that UP has. And my contention is that
And a lot more industries leave
and that the poor people were for Modi on account of demonetization, and that is where you know your poll looks at it from the caste point of view. When you see that the MBCs and a section of the Dalits have drifted to the BJP, I see it from the class point of view, that they were poorer people showing their allegiance to BSP. They have drifted to BSP.
Okay, let me put that question to Juhi Singh of the Samajwadi Party, because we heard many Akhilesh rallies across UP, we travelled with him. He made demonetization a big issue. For Rahul Gandhi, it was the biggest issue. You know, in the end, if you look at the exit poll data, it seems to suggest that demonetization wasn't quite the electoral game changer or the kiss of death that you thought it was.
The demonetization was mentioned by the Chief Minister in all his rallies, and it was a point which was mentioned along with others. And as I said, we're still looking at exit poll numbers, what really played out, where we got the vote share, where we have won seats. If all this proves to be true, there's a lot of time for analysis and introspection, but we are still sticking to our internal survey, and let's wait till tomorrow, and then we'll be able to really
Shant Kishore's internal survey,
streamline
I think
the issues.
Shivam,
What
you
does it
sent it
say?
to me last night.
One night.
I don't know.
You didn't send it to me.
He doesn't want to take credit for that
I don't know what you're
on
talking
national
about.
television.
We don't know who sent
No,
it
no,
to.
that is actually Samajwadi Party backroom people.
The
The one-
Samajwadi
Shant
Party
Kishore
numbers.
survey. I
We
don't
got
have
this. No,
Shant
sorry. We
Kishore
got this
survey.
data from the Samajwadi Party war room. This is from Lucknow. The data that the SP has come up with, their data seems to suggest that the SP will get between 188 to 218, the BSP between 39 and 56, the RLD between 9 and 14, BJP between 131 and 145. This is the number from the Samajwadi Party war room.
Is that wishful thinking?
This is, you're calling it wishful thinking, but this is the data that they've come up with.
Rahul, if we could go back to the big national takeaways, what I'd also like to mention is that besides the Rajya Sabha, if they win UP, they get the president of their choice. The president
That's
of India
right,
is,
that's right.
is an RSS man after that.
Okay.
Is a BJP man.
Is
That's a
that-
big thing.
Siddharth Nath Singh, your big ticket takeaways from all these 5 elections, if the exit poll numbers were to hold, what would be your big ticket takeaways?
I think the most important is that Modi is a great brand. Then secondly, he is a reliable politician. BJP, because let's say in UP we didn't project anybody, but BJP as a party means governance, and also the issue like demonetization has been acceptable to the masses. That's a great news, and it has actually cut across the caste factor in UP. I'll speak only about UP, but at the end of the day, if all this goes well, then certainly the numbers which were skewed against us in Rajya Sabha are more balanced, more favorable. So a lot of things which get stuck in Rajya Sabha in the form of governance bills and etc. will be going through. And certainly with all these numbers, the Vice President will be, getting our nominee favorable, will be easier for us to do so.
Who could that president be? Any guesses?
Somebody really low profile is what one can
They don't
guess.
want anybody who can create trouble or can take a position different from what Prime Minister Modi wants.
The most interesting name I've heard is that of Draupadi Murmu, the Jharkhand governor, a tribal woman. India has never had a tribal president. It's a community the BJP doesn't have much inroads into.
Last time they picked APJ Abdul Kalam. But one of the reasons they picked APJ Abdul Kalam was they didn't have the strength in
Numbers.
the electoral
Now they have
college
the
to push it
numbers.
through. The RSS is for the longest time
Probably they
believed that there
also
must be
must
an
have thought
RSS man. There must be somebody who comes from the larger Sangh fraternity who should be
I
given
think
a
whatever
chance.
Modi does, he does with an eye on the future. How will this benefit me politically in the
Sure.
future? I think so. The president will be somebody whom he can say, look, the Congress never gave such a president, I gave one.
That's
And
true.
you've got Odisha, where they're hoping to make some inroads. You've got Jharkhand. So you're suggesting
That's
at
right.
the possibility of a tribal.
A tribal, a Dalit, a backward, a woman. I think it will be a mess. The political signaling will be quite important in
at
this
the same
election.
time,
of the
Rahul, I
election.
wonder,
And a
all
Sangh
this-
background.
with all this talk of tribal Dalit backward party, Keshav Prasad Maurya, is the BJP taking the upper caste for granted? And
Okay,
could
let me
they
put
lose
that question to Siddharth Nath Singh. Is the BJP, and let me put out the upper caste data for Uttar Pradesh. This is number 12 data point in our list. I want to run the upper caste data for Uttar Pradesh. By and large, all the upper caste, the Brahmins, the Thakurs, the Kayas and the Banyas seem to have supported the BJP. If you look at the data, you've got a fair amount of consolidation, but it's not as strong as the consolidation amongst Muslims or the Yadavs, Siddharth. That would throw up questions. Shivam asking, are you taking the upper castes of Uttar Pradesh for granted? You're pushing so much for non-OBC Yadavs, non-Jatav Dalits. Are you taking the upper castes for granted?
Rahul, I don't think that's the case with us in UP, but let me try to explain why I'm saying so. What has happened over the years is the BJP has expanded as a party. When you expand, your base also expands, and in that base the other caste also gets included. So once you get that inclusion, we have leaders coming from that caste. So earlier it couldn't be represented, now they get represented. So it gives a little different picture if you look at it on macro picture, but if you look at the micro picture, the reality is we have now got from other castes also leaders who are winnable, so they get the tickets. So BJP is now a more of an inclusive party than it used to be earlier. And let me be honest, if what I have seen on the ground, if the Muslim votes are favoring us, but I've seen it on my seat particularly, if that be the case, it won't surprise us that we have.
Let's not get carried away, and let's not resort to wishful thinking. I've got the Muslim data in front of me. I'll take you through it. The vote share percentages for Uttar Pradesh compiled by Access My India suggest that 70% of the Muslims are voting for the SP Congress combine, 16% for the BSP. Only 2% of those who were polled said that they're voting for the BJP.
Muslims, I come in, Rahul, with one line. You know, the fact is that there's no Muslim MP in the Lok Sabha from Uttar Pradesh for the first time in independent India. The fact is that if your exit poll is correct, it shows that there'll be very limited Muslim political representation in the Vidhan Sabha, and I don't think that's good news for Indian democracy. You cannot have a situation where 20% of a big state does not have adequate political representation. That leads to alienation. It is something for the BJP to worry about.
And the only party which is seeking to exclude one section of society is the BJP.
Okay, let Siddharth respond. 0 out of 403 tickets for Muslims. If giving tickets to Muslims is a message, not giving tickets to Muslims equally is a message.
I don't, Rahul, I would say one shouldn't be thinking that way. It is rather insulting to the Muslims of the minorities. When, let me put it across on a different platform. If you are selecting people as journalists, do you go and select them on basis of your caste? So similarly, the political parties don't divide on the basis of caste or religion. So, and we are the same. So we make a decision based on the.
I just say, since we traveled so much to Uttar Pradesh, I asked one of your senior most leaders, one of the senior most leaders in the party whom I shan't name, I said, how much of this election is development, how much is caste? His answer was 95% is caste. So you are looking very carefully at every caste constituency combination, every seat, and deciding who to give tickets to. So if you're looking at that when it comes to caste, surely then community and religion also matters. It can't work both ways.
Rahul, it's absolutely. Rahul. Please just allow me 30 seconds. I've contested on a seat which is Allahabad West. My caste is Caste. I don't have more than 20,000 people who are Caste. It's 95,000 are Muslims. 1,20,000 are the scheduled caste out of 4,18,000 voters. How do you get these data? Why the hell have been placed here? I don't think it,
that magically you cannot find one winnable candidate from 20% of the population. Is it just a coincidence?
Because I represent development. I represent those who come from educated classes.
I have
And
said
that's
this
the
in the
risk we
past
have
on your
taken.
show, Rahul. BJP cannot win an election from Delhi's borders to Assam without communal polarization because it starts with a -20 disadvantage. It is not getting Muslim votes. So to get the 80%, which is its electoral playfield, it has to do two things. It has to be internally inclusive of Hindu castes, which it does through ticket distribution, and it has to construct the other and use divisive language,
Rahul,
which
it
it has
doesn't
done in
have
UP.
to be this way. I have met
argument-
Muslim voters who say BJP doesn't even come and ask for our votes.
You know, but
It's a
and this
strange-
argument that
Okay, let
winnability
Siddharth
is the
respond to
criteria,
Siddharth?
Rahul,
Siddharth is thinking the polls are showing we're doing so well, and yet here these guys are going after me early in the morning.
It's very unfair. It's very, very unfair.
no, Siddharth may be an
Well, it's very
exception
unfair
as far
that
as
you all are making these kind of comments. By
no, we believe
no,
you.
it's
in
not
the-
an exception. It's a
Siddharth ji,
reality, and it
we
goes
hope they-
throughout wherever I've seen fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh phases, and I've seen how it works out. It doesn't work out that way. We have gone out, we have reached out to everybody, and trust me, we are getting vote irrespective, you may say so. Yes, in comparison to what we got in 2012, we are getting their votes also. We do reach out, and by work, you do the justice to each and every caste and people coming from religion.
You have
When
to
a
give them
road is made,
representation.
and
If
which
you
is
believe-
not a case in Uttar Pradesh, the roads are not there, the water connection not there. We
Okay.
provide to everybody. We don't decide on the basis
Sir,
that oh,
one just-
this is a
sir,
re-
just
this is
one
a
question.
Muslim
Sir, one
community or this is a
question.
different caste community.
How is it, Siddharthji, how is it that you could not find a single candidate from 20% of the population? Is that just a coincidence or is it strategy?
We don't have. We don't have. Try and understand. We have a party. We don't. It is a reality. We don't get winnable Muslim candidates. We are now getting them. And if I try to explain in a different fashion, why there are not so many women candidates in each party? Why don't we have 50% of the women? Because we don't have good women candidates who are winnable. There is a
Okay,
growth
fair
in the
point,
party,
fair
and
point.
it is not happening.
I want to
the
go
way
across to
Rahul, just one
Union
thing.
Minister of State Babul Supriya is joining us this morning. He was up till late watching a football match. Thank you very much, Babul, for joining us. Tell us, what according to you are the big ticket takeaways from this exit poll data? If the Access My India data trend holds on counting day, what are your big ticket takeaways?
Well, one thing I think it is the beginning, or if probably we are at the fag end of dynasty politics in India, because I think Congress not only had projected but had also put forth Priyanka Gandhi in a big manner in Uttar Pradesh, and I think even if she did not campaign extensively in other parts, she did, though in other states as well.
Okay, how is
but
that,
the
how
message
is that
was very
campaigning
clear
in
that
a big
Congress-
way?
One
Babul,
thing,
don't reach to
just a-
conclusions which
No,
are
no,
not
one-
correct or based on
No, no.
empirical evidence. She came one day. How is it the end of
No, no.
Priyanka Gandhi? It's not even the start of her.
I'm not saying. I am not saying that she. See, I immediately changed my sentence. I said the message sent out from the Congress camp was very clear that they were looking at Priyanka Gandhi probably as we see it, what everyone sees, as probably as a added force to Rahul Gandhi, which has absolutely failed. Let's accept that. Now, I would not be very conclusive in terms of the exit polls, because we have always seen exit polls not showing the numbers that actually comes out. It is a good debate for cephalogists inside studios. I am expecting an even better result for BJP in Uttar Pradesh, and Siddharth Singh has worked a lot for us in Bengal. May I congratulate you? You are definitely winning your seat. That's what I come to know. That's one exit poll from my side.
That's an
And the
armchair
other
exit poll.
takeaway is that the demonetization is a big hit. It has not hit India the way the other leaders have hit the roads, trying to convince or confuse people about the black marks of demonetization. That has definitely not worked.
No, can
And
I
that
just
is
say,
showing
you're
everyone.
entitled to
In terms
your
of
view,
Punjab-
and you will of
in terms
course say what
Punjab,
you will. The exit poll does not show that demonetization is a big hit. The exit poll instead shows that you won despite demonetization.
Yeah.
You've not won because of demonetization, but because of the aura of brand Modi, you've been able to overcome this bump. So there aren't too many people who voted for you because of demonetization. It's a negative vote against Akhilesh. It's a positive vote for Modi. It's not got so much to do with demonetization. It's not a referendum on demonetization.
Rahul, we are all very good in English. we all very good in English, and probably, you know, we can construct the sentences that suits our argument. But what I'm saying is that if what the opposition leaders were saying, if that was correct, the anti-Modi or the anti-demonetization effect could have been good enough to probably, you know, take BJP much below the numbers that we are seeing on the screens. Though seeing is not exactly believing, because this could well mark the exit of Congress from the power center in India. If this exit polls are to be believed, apart from Punjab, where Congress is definitely not in the driver's seat, rather, I think this is the exit polls, a sign for the exit for Congress from the power center in India.
That's a good point to take a break on.
Can we take that?
Exit poll data, if at all it comes out to be true, raise even more questions about Rahul Gandhi's ability to lead the Congress party into the future, as he's up against a rampaging and a ever popular Narendra Modi. We'll put that question to Sanjay Jha, to our panelists. I'm hoping to be joined by some other guests as well, special newsmakers joining us on this special broadcast. We return on the other side of a very quick break.